Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with a video on a very exciting gambit, the so-called Danish Gambit. If you are an e2, e4 player on the first move, you could have a lot of fun with this opening. I've done a lot of work recently on this opening in preparation for a training session with one of my students called Noel from Ireland. By the way, if you would be interested in chess training, I'll always be willing to take on some more students. Please email me on classroomchess@gmail.com to get the ball rolling. I'll show the flyer I've done for my chess training at the end of this video. Anyway, back to the Danish Gambit. I will show you a few games with this exciting opening setup. We're going back to the year 1876 when Joseph Henry Blackburne, a British chess player nicknamed the Black Death, not a very nice nickname, played this opening. Blackburne dominated the British scene during the latter part of the 19th century. In the game that we're going to look at, he played a blindfold simultaneous display on March 31st of that year 1876. His opponent was G.M. Day. He was not a grandmaster, but his initials were GM. Very nice initials for a chess player. Let's see what happened. Blackburne was white and opened with the e-pawn. As said, he played blindfold. e5 from his opponent and d4. Black took, c3 and black took again. That's a pawn sacrifice by white, but it will get even more exciting because white did not recapture on c3. Knight takes c3 looks like a logical move, and it is, but Blackburne played bishop c4, and now we see the Danish Gambit in operation because black took on b2, and after bishop takes b2 we have the Danish Gambit. White has sacrificed two pawns. What has he got in return? Well, what strikes the eye is those beautiful bishops, and of course his advantage in development. He's got those two bishops into play, while black has all his pieces on the back rank. He only has played with his e-pawn so far. Black played bishop b4 check. Later I'll show you a game where d7, d5 was played by a grandmaster, and that takes the sting out of the Danish Gambit. But bishop b4 check was played by GM Day. Blackburne interposed the knight to shield the check, d6 and queen b3, and that is a double attack on f7 and also on the bishop on b4. So black said, I have to take on c3 with check. Bishop takes, and now both f7 and g7 are attacked. Queen g5, counter-attacking the pawn on g2 was black's solution. Blackburne took on f7 with check, king f8, and played knight f3 to hit the queen. You can take on g2, but then there is rook g1 with great compensation for white. In the game, black played queen g4, saving the queen. Blackburne calmly castled, he's not in a hurry. Knight h6, attacking the bishop on f7, and that bishop went calmly back to c4. What really strikes is that white is attacking, but is not rushing his attack. Very instructive. Knight c6 from GM Day and e4, e5, again very instructive. White needs to play energetically to open up the position for his pieces against the weak black king. D takes e5, knight takes e5, and more captures on e5. Black is still a pawn up, but white now has overwhelming compensation. In fact, white is winning already. How to defend this position? These two pieces are still at home, the king is in the open, and soon white will be attacking with all his pieces when he gets his rooks activated. Black came up with queen g5. That doesn't really work, but nothing works in this position. White is already winning, as said, after only 15 moves. Rook f2 e1, knight f5, and Blackburne took on c7. Now he's even restoring the material balance. White is not even material down anymore. Bishop d7, you have to develop. Queen b4 check, knight interposed, and very nice winning exchange sacrifice. Rook takes e7. It wins. There's really no defense for black. He took on e7, but then lost the queen after bishop d6 with his cure. Queen takes check, king e8, and we saw a very quick checkmate. Let's put the remaining moves on the board. Check, king has to go to d8, rook e7, and checkmate in a few moves. Crushing win by Blackburne in this blindfold simultaneous display. He made it look very easy. Let's look at another game with this gambit. It is W. John Lutz, who played a chess player with the name of Hartenstein in Indianapolis in the USA in 1962. And white opened again with the e-pawn. When you learn a new gambit, it's always good to put the moves on the board from the start, so let's do that here as well. d4, and you take. After c3 you take again, and then bishop c4, sacrificing a second pawn. c takes b2, bishop takes, and we have that same opening position as we just saw in the game of Blackburne. Here black played f5, and that is not a good move. You can take on g7, that is possible, because after bishop takes g7 there is queen h5 check, and that is threatening mate in 1. So don't go to f8, because queen f7 is checkmate on move 8. So after queen h5 check you have to go to e7 with the king, and after queen f7 check, king d6. It is very clear that things have gone horribly bad for black. All his pieces are on the back rank, apart from the bishop on g7, which by the way is hanging, but his king is on d6. So that was possible after f7, f5 from black, and then bishop takes g7. This line was given by the engine. But in the game, John Lutz played queen h5 check straight away. And after g6 we see another very instructive moment. The queen just retreated back to e2. And now the rook in the corner is hanging. So queen h5 check, that queen could be kicked back straight away, but by doing that black has weakened his position. You can still play knight f6, because that knight is protected by the queen and it looks like you're saving your rook in the corner. But on move 8 there was e takes f5 check, and after this move black resigned. Can you figure out why he resigned? Put the video on pause and have a look. Why is this such a terrible position for black? Well, he's losing a piece. For example, after bishop e7, which is the most logical move to shield the check, there is a bishop takes f6, and the bishop on e7 cannot recapture because it is pinned. White has just won a piece, and not only that, black's position is in shatters. Another very quick victory for the Danish Gambit. In my training session, Noel, my student, and I looked at many games with the Danish Gambit. I want to show you one more, because it's not all rosy in the Danish Gambit. We'll see now a way for black to take the sting out of the Danish Gambit. It was played in 2007. In the Tula Sinitsyn Memorial, black was Mikhail Smolsky with a rating of 2042, and black was a grandmaster, Vladimir Afromiev, with a rating of 2628. Let's see how the grandmaster played against the Danish Gambit. White played e4, let's put the moves on the board again. We'll see the same variation. D takes c3, bishop c4 is sacrificing a second pawn, and the grandmaster took it. And after bishop takes b2, he played d7, d5, and that's immediately giving back a pawn. It's a good way to play for black. It's taking the sting out of the very dangerous gambits. White took, and now look at this move, knight f6. Did the grandmaster blunder? Do you not win black's queen after bishop takes f7 check? Yes, you do, because you don't really want to play king e7, but indeed black can sacrifice the queen. After king takes f7, white takes the queen, and do you see why this is playable for black? Put the video on pause and have a look for yourself. Yes, indeed, there is bishop b4 check with the discovered attack on the queen. White played queen d2. That is the best move, but after bishop takes d2 check, knight takes d2 and rook e8, white's attack is over. Black has given back the two pawns and we have an equal position. Very nice play from the grandmaster. I will not analyze the rest of the game, I will just show you the moves. It's not a very long game. It stays equal for a long time, but of course white is very much outrated by his opponents. And slowly but surely the grandmaster was outplaying the amateur. Here rook c1 was played. Probably white was already in time trouble. That is a tactical blunder, because after knight e2 check, black wins an exchange. After rook takes d8, if white plays king f1, then the game goes on. But as said, rook c1 was played on move 20 and knight e2 check decided the game. White resigned here. The Danish Gambit is a very exciting opening, and if black doesn't know how to play against it, it may gain you quick victories. I hope you will try it out in your own games, and if you have any success with it or if you get crushed, then I hope you'll let me know, and then I can do a follow-up video on this gambit. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, that you give it a thumbs up, that you subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and that you leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you like the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. And I will show you the flyer of my chess training sessions now. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.